So I had an interesting conversation with someone this week. Interesting because for those that watch the show or listen to the show, you know that music has played a huge role in my life. It has shaped who I am as a person. So, but I was chatting with someone earlier this week, and they were asking me, "Have you heard this? And do you listen to this person?" And normal music conversation that I tend to find myself in. But they said, "Oh yeah, you have you have two sons. Do you think they're gonna follow in your footsteps and play music starting at a young age?" And my response was, well, gee, I sure do hope so, but easier said than done. They both at this point right now, my oldest really loves plucking at my guitar. He has his own guitar that he plucks at sometimes. He loves standing at the piano and hitting the keys. And, when music comes on, he's overjoyed. His favorite song right now is the Ghostbusters theme song. So and my youngest, anytime music is on, he again lights up. The big smile on his face, and you could tell that he really, really enjoys it. If I play the guitar in front of him, he is locked in on what I'm doing. So I think there's something there. We'll see. And then the person I was chatting with said, "Well, what if they started a band together? Wouldn't that be cool?" I'm like, "Yeah, that would be cool." Again, easier said than done. But yes, that would definitely be cool. And obviously, I would have plenty to say about the music industry to them. Although by the time they would start doing it, it will have changed again and become something completely different than what we even know now. What I do know is that doing it now would be far different than when I started and possible. It'd probably be easier now than when I was a kid and a teenager. So I'm certainly not going to push for it. Maybe I should. Maybe if I see a talent there, I should. Because when I was a kid, I wanted to be a professional baseball player, and I found out about the age of 10 that was not a reality. Thus came the music. So, but it got me thinking, and it sent me down a rabbit hole thinking about sibling bands. Bands that have siblings in them, and how successful they are, and some of the more famous ones. And it's actually pretty. We forget. I think. Well, I can't speak for everyone here, but I think we forget about some of these bands. There are a lot of really cool ones, a lot of really cool siblings sibling bandmates that we perhaps forgot about. The biggest one of the most important bands in my life, Pantera, Dimebag and Vinny. Huge, 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 huge for metal. One of the most important metal bands of all time. Then I just kind of went down this list here. Thanks, Loudwire, again, for giving me a list. Eddie and Alex Van Halen, famous one, obviously. Igor and Max Cavalera. There's a great one for the metal world. Igor and Max of Sepultura, very important thrash band. Malcolm and Angus Young, AC/DC, another great one. Anne and Nancy Wilson of Heart, one of the biggest bands of the 70s. So here's where it gets interesting for me. And this is actually the rabbit hole that I went down. I could only come up with 3. So when you're done watching this, leave in the comments. Let me know if you can think of some besides the ones that I named to you. But so here's where I'm going with this. So Rob Zombie and Spider-1. Everyone knows who Rob Zombie is. If you don't, I don't know where you've been living. Spider is his brother. He is the frontman, lead vocalist for the band Powerman 5000. Powerman 5000 has been around since the early 90s, sort of a mainstay, really became successful during the nu metal days, and they've been a band ever since. And he's been, I think he's the only original member left, but was never in a band with Rob Zombie. So I started thinking, well, what other rock stars, I'm using air quotes, or famous musicians have siblings that started their own project and did their own thing? So one that came to mind was a guy by the name of Mark Chavez. So if you don't know who that is, he might still be, I know he left for a while and came back, maybe he left again, was the front man for the band Edema. And he is the half-brother of Korn's Jonathan Davis. So Edema got really, saw a little bit of success in the nu metal days, was a really great record that had a lot of really great songs on it. But Mark is the half brother of Jonathan, and he is the vocalist of this band. Let's get into this a little bit. This is always fun. A really cool tune.
Will you walk me to the edge again, shaking?
I remember seeing this band. They played a headlining show at an old club here in St. Louis called the Galaxy. It is no longer with us. It's been closed for many, many years. Really cool, sort of underground punk-ish club, but I remember they really were sort of their heyday was when nu metal was taking off. They would have a lot of these bands come through. So I don't know who was doing the promoting then. I was just a kid, but I saw this band play there. They were doing a headlining set there, and this place only held, 300 people maybe. And I just remember watching them going, yep, this band's going to be big. They're going to be big. And I remember reading something in a magazine. Oh, he's using the I'm the half brother of Jonathan Davis to his advantage. Some hater writer said that. I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't he?
lonely, and I am drinking again. Woke up tonight, and no one's here with me. I'm giving in to you. Take me under. I'm giving
Left-handed drummer. You don't see that often.
to you. I'm dying tonight.
Cool tune, cool band, cool tune. So go check that out again. The band's called Edema, and that is Mark Chavez. He is the half brother of Jonathan Davis. So there's another one I thought of, and this is going to be probably a lesser known one than this. So Brandon Boyd of Incubus has a brother, and Mike of Incubus has a brother that started a band. That band was called Audio Vent, and they saw a little bit of success again in the early 2000s. They put out a record called Dirty Nights in Paris, and it is one of the more underrated records of the time period, 2005. So of the 2000s, it's one of the more underrated rock records for sure. But Brandon's brother is the lead singer of this band, younger brother. You can hear and see a lot of the resemblance. So let's get into this. The song's called The Energy. Sounds like Brandon. Looks like Brandon. Moves like Brandon. This was an interesting time period too, because this band kind of got lumped into the later, or we're in 2005, so nu metal has really kind of run its course, but there were still some bands that were kind of seeing some commercial success, either through like a soundtrack song or a video game. And I remember this band got like lumped in with those bands, and I'm like, nah, this band's definitely not nu metal. And their style, you could tell they're like this mid 2000s were almost to emo screamo. Actually, screamo was thriving in 2005, but so they were kind of like a lone wolf in a sense that they were just kind of a rock band. You know, they look like surfer guys. And all right, I'm done. But anyway. A great chorus, just all around, just catchy, powerful. All right, so yeah, the band is Audio Vent. That song's called The Energy. Go check them out. So back to this list. Let's see who else we got. Siblings. Lizzie and RJ Hale. I am not a Hailstorm fan. I've made that no secret on the show, but that is a good one. Here's one I didn't know about. So Clint Lowry of Seven Dust has a brother named Corey Lowry. Did not know that. He used to be in a band called Stuck Mojo, but plays in Dark New Day with Clint. And he's also playing in Saint Asonia. I had no idea. No idea. Gerard and Mikey Way of My Chemical Romance. Mike and Vic Fuentes of Pierce the Veil. That's a good one. Matt and Brad Walst. Matt of 3 Days Grace, the current singer. And his brother Brad has always been the bassist. Didn't know that. Oh, here's a good one. I think a lot of people probably didn't know about. Chad Kroger and his brother Mike, bass player of Nickelback. Did you know that? Two of the nicest guys I've ever met. Yes, I've met Nickelback. Yes, I talk about it. I don't give a fuck. When I met them, I was blown away as to how normal and nice and down to earth and just cool dudes they were. It's like, I want to go have a beer with you guys. That's how cool they were. Nicest guys. This guy, Mike here, he's a deep Red Wings fan. and he's in St. Louis and he meets me. He immediately starts talking about hockey. Really cool guys. Brothers. Shannon and Jared Leto. There's a great one. I don't think I need to say who they are, but 30 Seconds to Mars. You know, it's funny. People say that Jared Leto is aging well. Perhaps, but he looks like a doll. The older he gets, the more he looks like a doll. He looks like a creepy doll that like one of my aunts would have in their attic or something. That would like freak me out when I was a child. He's still more handsome than me, so I guess it's fine. But he looks like a doll. Robert and Dean DeLeo. We'll go DeLeo. Stone Temple Pilots. That's a great one. Love Stone Temple Pilots. One of my favorite bands of all time. So good. Joe Pete and Sam Loeffler. The brothers that are Chevelle. Three brothers. And I couldn't be in a band with my brothers. It wouldn't work. It's probably because of me. I'm the asshole. I would be an asshole. I would suck. So hopefully my boys are not like that if they start a band. Anyway. All right. So interesting. Like I said, I went down that rabbit hole of like who's a rock star that has a sibling that has a band also. So if you know of any others, if you know of any of these guys or gals that I did not name, please let me know. I'm curious. I didn't want to go down a Google rabbit hole for the show. So anyway, with that said, it is time for new music of the week. I'm just gonna get right into it. We're gonna do a band that we actually talked about a few episodes ago. They just released a record on Friday, so a day ago. What day is it? Yeah, a day ago. This band's been around quite some time, for a while anyway. They have one of the more popular rock songs of the last few years. They have a new singer in the band, or a newish singer in the band, and they released a record last year that kind of was heavily criticized by their fans and critics alike. I don't really understand why, but they released a new record yesterday, and I think it's going to be great for them. I don't dislike anything they've done. I don't really understand the criticism of the new singer and the direction of the band with the new singer. Nonetheless, I think this new stuff is going to be great for them. The band is called Bad Wolves. We actually talked about them again a couple episodes ago. Like I said, they just put out a record a day ago, and they just released a visual video for this song, Savior. So let's get into it. This is new music by Bad Wolves. New music of the week. The song's called Savior. Okay, sorry to stop so soon, but I mean, if you're a fan of this band or used to be a fan of this band or even a critic of this band and you hear that, you go, yeah, that's not good. I don't like it. You fucking nuts. It's ripping already.
Call it what you want now, baby. Doesn't matter if we're breaking down. You're my hope when I can't hang on. You're my
Oh, yeah.
light when the night's too long. Save my life when I'm too far gone. Be my savior, and don't let go.
What a hook. That again, I don't know how you could dislike this if you hater or fan or whatever. That's good shit so far. I'm sold.
I never meant for isolation. I always felt the thorn stuck in my side. Call it what you want now, baby. Keep pushing through the pain we can't deny. You're my hope when I can't hang on. You're my light when the night's too long. Save my life when I'm too far gone. Be my savior, because I'm lost.
That's a great hook, man. That's it's weird. I talked about this with someone recently. The production on songs now and the writing for vocals has just I feel like as a vocalist who writes his own stuff, and I've been in a room with the producer who's helped me write vocals, and so I know the process. It's not the same for everyone, but I feel like there's this approach now especially for heavier bands where there's a formula, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I think what we're seeing now is pop writing vocally being used in heavy music, and I think that's so great. That is a poppy chorus we just listened to. You know, heavier bands are really sort of dialed into pop writing, vocally anyway. My favorite band right now is Beartooth, and I think Caleb is the best right now at writing pop hooks. It does not get any better. It does not get any better. And I when I say formula, I don't mean to be insulting. I don't mean it as a negative. I think that's a positive as far as bringing pop hooks into heavier music. It seems to be sort of hit or miss for people in heavier music. Some folks don't like the clean poppy vocal, but you know what? I'm a pop fan. I come from pop. I was raised on pop. I write pop, so I appreciate it. But I also love heavy music too. So this is right up my alley. Yeah, don't hold that too long. You know, it's kind of telling to me that, the band was under such heavy criticism for this new singer and new lineup, if you will. And I get people are resistant to change, and it's fine. The old singer had his own fan base because of all the stuff that he had done prior to even being in Bad Wolves. So I get it. I think it's pretty symbolic that I know this is just a visualizer video, but the singer's the only one from the band in this video. I think it's a statement. It's a ripper. Yeah, again, it's fine to have haters, but I don't know how anyone could hear that and go, yeah, that's not good. It's just not good. It's not the same. Whatever, bro. So anyway, that's new music of the week. That's Bad Wolves. The song's called Savior. They just dropped a record. The record is called Die About It. Go check it out. Buy it. Buy it. Buy it. Buy it. Buy it. So yeah, again, the band. So if you don't know who Bad Wolves is, again, I don't know where you've been living, but they, it's not often that a band has a song that really just changes them overnight. They're not an overnight success by any means, but they had a song that really changed the band because they covered the song Zombie. And it's one of the biggest rock covers, probably about 514 million views in 5 years on YouTube. That's insanity. But this band just achieved, it's still being played on radio now. Our buddy Joel, who was on a couple episodes ago, he just toured with Bad Wolves and talked about how this song is still what people show up for. So do I get the apprehension from some of the fan base to have a new singer? Sure. But give them a chance, I guess is what I'm saying. For those of you, again, living under a rock, they covered the song Zombie, originally done by the Cranberries.
But you see, it's not me, it's not my family. In your head, they are fighting. What's in your head? In your head. Stop it.
All right, you get it. What's funny is they weren't the first rock band to cover this song. A band that did it first was called Miser. They're probably looking at these 514 million views going, hey, man, what the fuck? This came out 15 years ago. Wow. The band's called Miser. I had to pick one.
Slowly, child is slowly taken. And the violence comes.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer the Cranberries over anyone, but if I had to pick the cover, I would choose Bad Wolves. So yeah, as I said earlier, the old singer, his name is Tommy Vext. And shout out to DL, the new singer of Bad Wolves. You killed it, dude. That song we just listened to is great, and I'm sure the record's great. I'm going to listen to the whole thing. I have not yet. But the old singer Tommy Vext, like I said, he brought his own sort of fan base because he was in a mildly successful metal band prior to joining Bad Wolves, and he was an outspoken person on social media about politics. And I'm not going to get into that. Look it up yourself. I don't care about that. But he actually did something that I loved. He fronted a band that got back together to do like a reunion run. The band is called Snot. It's one of my favorite bands of all time. And for me, when I was a teenager, when I was a kid, they were our band. Snot was just they were our band. And I was so stoked to find out that they were doing a reunion run. They were playing with Mudvayne. I went and saw them with Mudvayne, and Tommy, former singer of Bad Wolf, who was currently in a band called Divine Heresy, was going to be fronting them. And I thought, that's interesting. I'm going to go because I want to see Snot. Snot was one of those bands. Unfortunately, their lead singer died at a young age, tragically and unexpectedly. But they had the approval and they had the stamp of approval from all of their peers and the new metal. And this was during the new metal times when new metal was in its heyday. But everyone from Fred Durst to Chino from Deftones to Brandon Boyd to the guys in Seven Dust. And so much so that when his name was Lynn Straight, when he died, there was a tribute record made for him. All these guys made songs about him, or in his memory. And the song "Angel's Son" by Seven Dust is one of their biggest songs of all time, and it was all a tribute to this guy Lynn Straight, who fronted the band Snot. The dude from Bad Wolves, Tommy Vext, formerly of Bad Wolves, filled in to do this tour, and it was one of my funnest live shows I've ever been to. I had such a great time. Wonder if there's any videos of him. Oh, a live video. Oh, it's a fan video. Let's give it a shot. Oh. So good. Let's go to the original. Man, 1997. This band was just a combination of everything that I loved at the time. I felt like they felt punk rock to me. They felt new metal to me. They felt metal to me. There were like hip hop elements there. Man, it embodied everything that captured my fucking soul at the time. So you need to go check them out. Again, the band is called Snot. The record is called Get Some. One of the best records ever made, in my opinion. I think it's a masterpiece. Someone's got to do it. Scott, you always knew this. Yeah, Scott, you were undisputed. Yeah, Scott, no, we rule your world. Rockin' all the girls. We're thinking you'll never stop. Just rips. So this came on Twitter from DRusso92 RAST. Which artist died too soon? Okay, simple, to the point. Well, I have a hard time answering this. I've been asked this before, and I've thought about it quite a bit before, but I have a hard time answering this only because I really do genuinely like to believe that, an artist gave us what they had and it was their best. They gave us their best when they could, and that's really where it ended. The gone too soon thing, I don't know about it. It just always made me feel kind of weird to think that, and believe me, two of my top artists of all time have passed away. So I don't know. Doug Stanhope has a bit. It's years and years old, but he talks about how people say like he had they had so much more to give, and he was just like, how arrogant are you? How do you know? Maybe they were out of shit. It's a fair thing to ask. He's being funny, but legitimately it is a fair thing to ask. I often think he uses Jimi Hendrix as an example, and he's right. Like, what would Jimi Hendrix have done? What more would he have done? But to be a sport, to be fair, I will answer this question. If I had to pick, I'm gonna go with Tupac, and here's why. I think had he not died, he would have evolved into something else, which he had done previously before he passed away. He was known for evolving. He was known for evolving as sound, known for evolving as a person or as an artist in the music industry. I think he would have done that if he didn't die. I think he would have moved on from the thug life into something else, and I think he would have done it well. And as one of my favorite artists of all time, he's so important to me and to who I am. I'm a fan of the social, sort of street poet, street warrior Tupac more so than the thug Tupac. Both were great. Both produced great records. But I feel like he would have evolved from that thug. I call it an identity crisis, and I don't mean to be insulting, but I feel like he would have evolved from that identity crisis into something great and even better than the thug character, that the thug life that he was living, if you will. He was living the thug life. Let's be honest. You don't have somebody roll up on you and shoot you 9 times or however many times he was shot, 4 times, 5 times. You don't have somebody roll up on you like that if you're not living the thug life. Clearly, you've done something to make them believe that you were living the thug life. Anyway, I don't know anything about that world, clearly. He died too soon. He was only 25 when he died. And, if you think about the small amount of time that he was putting out records and that he put out records and that he did his best work, it was a small window. Like a lot of these guys, a lot of these guys and gals that do die young, that's really all they had was a small window, but he wasn't doing it for a long time. He is top 5 artist of all time for me. I mean, he's so important to me, and I feel like people need to go back and listen to a lot of this stuff. When people ask me like, well, Tupac's your favorite rapper of all time, what's your favorite record? And, most people expect anyone who says Tupac is their favorite rapper to say All Eyes on Me. It's not. It's Me Against the World. Me Against the World is one of the greatest records ever made. It's flawless front to back. And I think I often tell people you need to go back and listen to it. Lyrically, musically, the way that he sounded on some of his verses, you can tell he put himself in a mood. You can tell he put himself in a kind of way to get out. Well, let's just listen to some real quick. I remember taking the bus to go to the record store in the mall to buy this record the day that it came out. And I remember the guy working the counter at the record store looking at me being like, do you know what you're buying? And I remember I didn't recite Tupac lyrics to him, but I started naming songs. I'm like, oh yeah, Tupac's my favorite. I love blah, 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 blah. He's like, okay, kid, take this, get out of here. It's that was so funny.
2 childhood friends just died. I couldn't cry, a damn shame. When will we ever change? And what remains from a 12 gauge to the brain? Arguments with my boo is true. I spend more time with my nigga.
Another important thing, if you want to hear all this, put this on with some good headphones. I know I have AirPods in. They're okay. They do the job, but put this on with some good headphones and just get sonically lost in this record. And it's, again, I part of people go, well, like, you think lyrically Tupac's one of the greatest MCs? Yes, I do. But for me, it's him as a performer and his voice and the way that he says things. I like what he says, but it's the way that he says it and the way that he sells it. It's just, there's nobody like him still.
Then I do with you, but everywhere it's the same thing. That's the game. I'll be damned if a thing change. Fuck the fame, I'll be hustling to make a million. Lord knows ain't no love for us ghetto children. So we cold rag top, slowing down. Time to stop for gas. Beat my horn for a hoochie with a proper ass. It ain't easy. That's my motto. Drink a Tanqueray straight out the bottle. Everybody wanna know if I'm insane. My baby mama got a mind.
Here's one thing that confuses me about hip hop. Who turned these guys on to shitty old-timey gin? Gin sucks. Who did this? Who? How did this happen? Tangeray. He's there. Tangeray out of the bottle. Ugh.
Full of silly games and all the drama got me stressing like I'm hopeless. I can't cope me and the homie smoking roaches. Cause we broke late night, hanging out till the sunrise, getting high, watching the cops roll by. It ain't easy.
Damn.
That's right.
Let's get a little bit more, one more song.
A coward dies 1,000 deaths.
Man.
A soldier dies but one.
You niggas don't really want that be so crazy. They say pussy and paper is poetry, power and pistols. Plotting on murdering motherfuckers before they get you. Picturing pitiful punk niggas copping please, puffing weed as I position myself to clock G's. My enemies scatter in suicidal situations.
I just don't know of anyone that had a voice like this, that was able to project and just control a beat and control the music with his voice like this.
Witness the wicked shit that they was facing. Pockets is packed with presidents, pursue your riches, evading the player hating tricks while hitting switches. Bitches is bad mouth, cause ballin' motherfuckers is bold, but charge them home. The game should be sold. Them sick and psychotic society, somebody save me. Addicted to drama, so even mama couldn't raise me. Even the preacher and all my teachers couldn't reach me. I run in the streets and puffin' weed with my peeps. I'm ducking the cops, I hit the weed as I'm clutching my Glock. Niggas is hot when I hit the block. What if I die tonight? If I die tonight.
This was just a time in hip hop too, where the beats. I mean, I can't get over the beats of this, this record and a lot of the records that came out at the same time. East Coast, West Coast, I don't care where you're from. It was beautiful. The music was just great. So yesterday, I was you had a playlist on, and Biggie came up. I'm also a fan of Biggie. Yes, I love Tupac and I love Biggie, but prefer Tupac. But so Biggie, the song Juicy came up in my playlist, and I had headphones in, and I love that song, love that record. Ready to Die is one of the best records ever made, and I think people don't listen to. I have toned it out, and because I was not busy, so I had time to like hear it and feel it and listen to it. But Jesus Christ, that song's great, but if you have headphones in, you can really hear how much Diddy just talks throughout the entire song. And you want to be like, hey, Diddy, shut up. You're ruining one of the best hip hop songs of all time. Shut it. Shut your yap. What are you going on about? Can there be a remastered version of Juicy with no Diddy in it? Saying, yeah, and it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. He says it's all good 2,000 times. Yeah. Is all good. In the background. It's just there. I think they've just tuned it out. Toned it out. Did I say toned it out earlier? Tuned it out. I think people have just tuned it out. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Now, again, I have the headphones in, so if you're listening to this with me, put in some headphones. It's all good. Yeah. We living. It's all good. Shut up. Such a great song, though. Goddamn. So that was 13 in the first chorus. It's all good. It's all good. Shut up, Diddy. What a great song. I'm gonna shut up, and I'm gonna stop being disrespectful to Biggie. We're gonna let this play through a little bit. All right, man. Legend. What a great song. I want to hear a remastered version of that, and I want Diddy to shut the fuck up on it. Anyway.